It was a little service station at one time. That was owned by Mr. Kretschmar. And it was just a small service station, but hey, it did the job. Because there was a lot of traffic on that road going to Temple. Not much during the week, but on Saturdays it was full house all the time. Okay, so then from still on that side of the street, then across the street from that service station is a white church. It was there before I was born, and it's still there. They still use it. Then as you went, there were some more houses, and then right there where Mr. Balch has his welding shop, there was a cotton gin there, and that belonged to the Bedecker Gin. And they processed the cotton that came in and separated the seed from the lint, and they had seed houses to put the seed in, or you could take it back home with you, feed it to the cows, whatever. And then that would be in this area right here. Then there was one more grocery store right there. Mr. Paul Heinze had that store. And then you came to this railroad track. Then all of this area over here was the Cameron Compress Company. We had a lot of gins in Cameron at that time. And when they got through baling the cotton there, then it went to the compress, and they squashed it down to a very small size, and then it was shipped off to wherever the cotton industry needed to go. Down this way, there was Mr. Batt had a commissary built here somewhere. And he had a lot of people working for him. He had a lot of land. They all worked around there everywhere on the farms. And so he paid in what we call Mr. Batt's money, or R.L. Batt money, part of it, not all of it. And they could take that money and spend it at that commissary, at which they bought their groceries at a reduced price. But that building is gone now too. I'd like to tell you a little story. When my dad had his place of business right there, my mother kept books and answered the telephone. And of course I was running around there all over the place. My Aunt Rosie, my mother's sister, had a room and boarding house right there, which was just a short piece from right here to right here. Okay, Aunt Rosie calls to my mother one day and told her, says, give Eugene 25 cents and go to Mr. Walzel's and tell him to bring me 25 cents worth of bananas. I've got to make some banana pudding, and I can't leave here. I got a lot of folks to feed at noontime. So mother gives me 5 nickels. I walk across that street to right there, and I'm a little short guy, you know, I'm not in school yet. The counter hits me about right there. Mr. Walzel says, Eugene, what you need? Bam, I put them 5 nickels up on that counter. I said, I've got to have 25 cents worth of bananas to take them to Aunt Rosie. She's got to make some banana pudding, and she's in a hurry. Mr. Walzel says, who's going to help you carry those bananas? Man, I don't know what he's talking about. Who's going to help me carry the bananas? I said, man, I don't know, but I got to hurry. I got to get them over there. So he gets 2 of the largest brown paper bags that he had in that store, puts one inside the other, and starts stacking those bananas in there. Well, he sets them up on that counter, and I look up there at that, and that thing is bigger than I am. So anyway, I get it, and here I go. And across this railroad track, and I'm scared to death. Train gonna hit me anytime. But anyway, I made it and got over there with them. But like I say, the pricing then and the pricing now is quite different, but it's still tough. It was hard to come by 25 cents back in that day. Then another one I want to tell you about the price of things. My dad loved steak and gravy and cornbread. So mother would leave the shop every afternoon around 3 or 4 to go home and do the house chores. And I'd stay there with Dad. So one evening there, he gives me $1. And he says, go home and stop at Mr. Smith's grocery store, which he was on Main Street, back off over here. I don't have it on this map. And get $1 worth of round steak. Okay, take it home and tell Mother to make some steak and gravy and cornbread. Okay, I take off running, man. I get to Mr. Smith's grocery store, and I give him that $1, and I said, got to have $1 worth of round steak. Okay, he has this cold storage vault. He goes in there and brings out this big old leg, lays it on that big wooden block, gets that butcher knife and cuts down through there, gets that saw and cuts that bone in too. And that piece of steak looked like a saddle blanket. And he wraps it up, and I had a dickens of a time getting it home. But we had steak and gravy that night. Anyway, I might want to tell you a little bit about this place right here that I told you was a meat market on one side and a restaurant, cafe on the other, and sort of a rooms to let upstairs. It also was sort of a place where it was used for other things. Ladies of the evening and so forth hung around there quite a bit and could accommodate a gentleman if he so desired. Anyway, I'm not going to mention no names because that might get me in trouble.